Hey everybody, it's Maggie Mulhern from Modern Salon TV. I am here with Amber Lastoskie. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I can't believe it. We practiced that one. We're here at Arrojo, and it's your special training program. What exactly is going on this weekend?
So this weekend we have our Arrojo Expo going on here in New York City. It is a 2-day event with cut, color, styling, and last but not least, American Wave.
All right, and that's why we're here, because the American Wave, beachy waves are all the rage right now, and you guys, your timing is perfect if you're tuning into this to learn how to get that beachy wave with the American Wave. And I asked Amber to give us her tips on how to get the perfect wave using the American Wave. Yeah.
Yes. So a couple things right now this weekend, since we are creating an entire look with the Arrojo Expo. What we're doing is, my favorite thing about the American Wave is the perfectly imperfect finish, right? So right now what we're doing is, I want to have imperfect sections. So by not having a straight across line, this is going to enable the overall result to be a lot more softer, lived in. There's going to be no weird creases. Another thing too that I really like to focus on is the tension that I'm holding. See right here, I'm pulling this and pinching my section together, right? Now this is going to allow me to create and pull a lot of hair all at once, so that way I'm going to be able to create way more of a lived-in look. So what we do is we use just still some end papers. I'm going to put them in the mid here, and this past weekend, since we were doing, more of a trend-focused wrap, we are focusing on kind of creating more of a wave throughout the mids, right? Versus just doing something that's going to be on the ends in a traditional wave pattern. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be pinching this all together, coming over top here, and kind of pre-wrapping this, and leaving my ends straight. Because that's going to create more of that tousled look. This is still going to create a lot of wave and texture throughout the hair, but this is also going to create more of that imperfect finish, right? We're seeing more of those lived-in wraps.
All right, so I have a question. You're wrapping up, and it's a huge section. Address that.
So we're wrapping up over the hair, and this is going to create more of the, in the mid shaft, more of a softer finish there. And then wrapping up is going to keep this flatter on the hairline, so we're not creating any weird patterns throughout the hairline. So that way when the hair grows out, it's going to flow and be a lot more natural.
Okay, so she pre-did a bunch of these. Is this your what you're advising as the American Wave wrap?
This would be one of our more trend wraps. One of our more traditional American Wave wraps is going to give you a lot of consistent volume maybe throughout the head. Some are going to be a lot more tighter. Others are going to be a little bit more flatter at the scalp and more wavy throughout the ends. This is our trend focused one, again, creating kind of an overall look for this past weekend. But again, with the American Wave, it's just going to be a lot more softer, more playable, a lot more airy, lived in, and nothing super harsh, or you're looking at someone, you're like, oh no, they had a perm.
All right, and so where is the finished head?
So this is a pre-wrapped one. This is the wrap that we would be completing right now for the Expo wrap. This is going to be creating a lot more drag and softness, and having those ends being a little bit more frayed and straightened out, it's going to have it be a lot more beachy and a lot more airy. Maybe someone with super pin straight hair, this wouldn't be like an appropriate wrap, but again, this is just kind of creating a look, and having us even leaving this fringe section out here, it's going to be a little bit more softer on the face.
So these are smaller sections, obviously. These are horizontal. They're pretty much horizontal throughout.
Correct. And these sections are going to create a little bit more lift and more volume at the top there, while this is going to be a little bit more flatter throughout the mids, where this is falling over and falling into her face, and then having more of that like airy wave throughout the mid-lengths and ends.
One thing I heard while I was sitting in on the class is, don't be afraid if your client has hair color.
Oh, correct, yes. American Wave has 2 different formulas. It has something that is going to be a little bit more aggressive and still very, very conditioning, as well as our American Color Wave. So people that have those solid blondes or double process, heavily highlighted, even like yourself, would be suitable if their hair is in great condition to get an American Wave.
Okay, and just before you, because I know you were going to take out one side for us to show, people were asking earlier in the class, the color is something you did this morning.
Yes.
And just tell us what the formula is.
So the formula was, we're working with Goldwell. They just came out with their new Effects color within their, it's a high ammonia high ammonia pigment, and what it's going to do is going to lift and deposit all together. So we were working with that and creating kind of this more pastel result. Again, that really like soft, blended kind of.
Actually, let's just go over here and just here is one that.
Starting to air dry. Yeah, this one you can start to see is air dry. We, the technique and placement that we used was our square lights. So working with the longest points of the haircut that was done yesterday is going to create a lot more airiness throughout the hair while keeping pieces really bright and punchy while retaining the darkness that's left behind.
You're such a great educator. Okay, so take out one so we can at least see what kind of movement it gets.
All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens here.
We did agree to do this, didn't we?
Yes, I was like, oh.
Wait a minute, did we?
Okay, so what you would do is then unwrap, and it's a little tight right now, but then what will end up happening as you start to kind of let it fall forward, or let me just do it this way. Well, actually, let me switch this side out, that'll be easier.
Wow, so it really does create a lot of movement, even though they're huge sections, large rods.
Yeah, because everything ends up dropping, right? This is going to be a lot looser. This has been set here with product and everything, but you can start to see.
That's a real nice drop from the scalp.
Right, so again, this would be keeping the top a little bit more flatter and then having more of that movement kind of living throughout the ends. With an actual American Wave product applied to it, it would be a lot more softer and kind of blended together.
And how long will it last?
So the American Wave, I would say, has a good life of at least 3 to 6 months, depending on your hair. It definitely drops and loosens over the course of time. However, I find that you have your clients that might be wanting more of like that root lift, so you will be doing it more often. But clients, you can get it done once a year and then you're set.
Okay, so last question. How does one learn more about Expo and Arrojo education?
You can go to arrojoNYC.com. You can inquire throughout there. We have our Advanced Academy. We come in with American Wave. I go to salons and do certifications, as well as we host them here and at other host salons and ambassador salons. So there's always education going on. There's like 4 classes a weekend. So yeah.
So great. Amber went to beauty school here in the States.
Yes, I did. I'm an Arrojo prodigy, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I've been here a long time.
Yeah, you started 6 years ago.
Yes, I went to the cosmetology school and then graduated, went through the program, and now I'm a senior colorist here and educator. Yeah.
And even though she's from Pennsylvania, she says y'all.
I do.
Thank you so much,
You're
Amber.
welcome.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Absolutely.
See you. Bye.